Good afternoon, everybody. It is 1 o'clock in the afternoon on this. I found money in my pocket. On this Thursday, the 27th of September. Oh my gosh, it's gonna be Halloween already soon. All right, let's go ahead, and wow, my words when I get into the afternoon really suck sometimes. Blah, blah, blah. Okay. So yesterday afternoon we logged off, got done with the Decrypt market session here, seeing a little bit of some selling pressure going into the afternoon, which is pretty normal. You know, when we start talking, and by the time we start getting done talking, is when we often see the markets kind of show a little bit of give back, and we gotta take like a funky view and look, because there's like a whole bunch of things all flying, bunch of flags and pennants and continuation patterns popping up all over the place here. So it's we have to just like take a broader look at it sometimes, and we're going to go into a different form of analysis, looking at charts, something you guys might be familiar with or you may not be familiar with. It's kind of an old school approach. It's one of my favorites. If I ever need to just take a step back to look at what is going on, I look at them. It's point and figure charts. If you're familiar with Renko charts, it's very similar to that, or any kind of range chart. It's void of any time, so there's no time factor involved. It's just price. That's it. It's very clean form, very noise-free style of trading. So looking here at the Bitcoin chart, yesterday on the 26th around the noon hour, and then during our conversation we saw prices dip a little bit, and ever since then we've kind of recovered, and there's been a interesting move. So we had a bounce at the $6,350 value area and drove up, and all we really did is we formed a bear flag. All right, we just formed a pretty common looking bull flag, sorry. Pretty normal looking bull flag. And then we had a technical breakthrough here, and then we drove up, and now we're forming a little bit of a bullish pennant, and now we're forming a breakthrough on that too. Okay? Which is also part of if we look at this move from the 6100 all the way up to here, really what we have is just another type of a bull flag. If you want to extend it this far, there's no real rules on how far a bull flag can be extended, or we could just say it extends to here and that we crawled back up into it. There's also we look for patterns. Humans love patterns, and we're really good at finding them because they make us feel good. But you got to get to a point in your trading where you're not reliant on patterns. You just recognize them and know that other people also see them. So we had this head and shoulder. What the heck? Why isn't that? Well, I could just draw it like this. So we had that head and shoulder pattern form up here. Oh my god, I'm ruining the whole thing. Well, you can see what I was trying to build there. Head and shoulder pattern formed. Returned back to this larger flag. We formed a smaller bullish flag. Lots of continuation patterns sitting here. So there's been a lot of attempts to drive the price lower that has not worked out very well for the bears. And we just see it continuing to see some signs of recovery. There's been some really key areas of support and resistance that we've traded against. We're getting into the afternoon, and here's the thing. So this green line right here, so from this swing high at 68.23, or rather from this swing low at 62.07 to 68.23, this is the 50% retracement right here. Okay, so we got down to it, and then we bounced off of the 213, traded back up to it. We really need to break above that 65.20 to 65.30 zone to get another nice move and extension higher here, which it looks like it's going to do that. There's been a lot of purposeful buying in here. Now, we saw that bullish stuff going on. There's also a case for a bearish continuation lower from this move here. So from this move down to this swing low, we are in a bear flag. Okay? We did form a head and shoulders, but the neckline did not break, and there was an attempt to push it lower, but it just got back up. So when you see, that's why head and shoulders patterns, folks, they are very profitable. They're the number one profitable pattern out there, both inverse and regular. But the thing is that they're only profitable when the neckline is broken. I'm going to mention this till I'm blue in the face, because people try to trade them, to follow them, to see if they can get in at the beginning of a shoulder, and oftentimes you get burned on that. They get rejected frequently, but when they do complete a formation, they are a very, very profitable pattern, and you really just gotta be careful of how you trade them. And they're profitable not because of the pattern itself. They're profitable because it's made up of three various triangles. Three symmetrical or three isometric triangles make up that head and shoulder pattern. So that's why they're profitable, because they make up triangles. Ultimately, though, looking at the move is one that had rejection, so there could be a move higher here. But again, regardless of all the patterns, the price level it really needs to get above is that 65.15 to 65.20 to 65.30. That's where we need to get above and close and trade above it. All right, so that is what we need to be looking at moving forward. Ethereum, we don't have to go much into this either. We see the same thing. We see that head and shoulder pattern almost formed. There was a lot of people who tried to the volume doesn't reflect it, but there was probably a strong urge from people to try and get this shoulder pushed down here. That could still form structurally. We're still within that move. I mean, there's a small trend line right here in front of us that Ethereum needs to break above. So that's looking at the 222. It's a pretty key zone that we're waiting on. Need to get above that. That could happen. Litecoin. We talked about Litecoin yesterday. We actually put in a trade idea for Litecoin yesterday. That was where were we at with that? I thought we did, didn't we? Or was that the day before? Oh no, it was in the morning we put that out. I put that out at 6:29 in the morning. There it is right there. 6:29 yesterday morning at 57.88. That's been a pretty damn good mover. I mean, moved up pretty nicely, and not only has it moved up nicely, it has held that level very, very well. We were, had an arrow pointing towards, the square of price and time here, that this is kind of the projected price level in time that we want to get to. So if we reach 111, before we get to November, then we have to adjust the cycle, where we would be looking at the next square of price and time would be all the way up here at 331. But I mean, cryptos, they make greater than 700% moves within a 30-day time period. That's nothing. I mean, it's easy if you've been in the market ever since January, or if depending how long you've been in, Electronium is crazy. Yeah, it's a little nuts. I was reading some on that. Other altcoins. So Cardano caught a nice bid, and this looks like a nightmare, I know, but there's reason for all the fibs. So Cardano and Qtum, I don't know, is Qtum catching any activity? I don't remember. It is, yeah. Qtum and Cardano are getting added to the Kraken exchange starting tomorrow morning. that may be a reason for this pump up. It may not be, who knows. But that means it'll be easier to short too, if you want to think of it that way. So Cardano, Qtum being added to Kraken, that's bullish news all around. Anytime a cryptocurrency gets added to a reputable exchange, that just means that there's more liquidity, there's more exposure. To be honest, most people who are really in the crypto market still, they probably have multiple exchanges that they trade on, especially if you're in the US and you don't have an institutional account or you don't meet that register. Gosh, it's right on the tip of my tongue. I cannot remember the name of it. But when you have 200K or more a year, you accredited investor. If you're not an accredited investor, or if you don't have your own LLC and you can't open up an exchange at like Bitfinex, the best short option you have is on Poloniex or Kraken, but Poloniex is crap. So Kraken. Kraken's what I use. And plus, I don't like to short cryptocurrencies with a lot of leverage anyway, so the limited leverage they do offer over there is just fine. Right. And actually, Kraken, I'm really impressed with what they've been doing. I'm really happy with what they've been doing really well by their customers lately. They've been a lot more transparent about things, fixing a lot of issues. They're doing a lot better. They've been kicked around a little bit, but nice to see they're getting better. Okay, anyways, Cardano held the 7910 0/8 harmonic level. That's holding very nicely. Really beautiful cup and handle pattern we've got forming here, or it did form, and it's shooting up higher, inverse head and shoulder if you want to call it that. But this is the key zone. So there's two shared 618 Fibonacci ratios. Those are the most important Fibonacci ratios in all of nature, and that is from two different swings, our last major swing low to swing high, and then our most recent swing high to swing low. That is a shared Fibonacci level. That was kind of a area to look at for support and resistance. And then right above us, we see some more converging zones. The 786 is right near this 382. We'll see if that is actually a area of resistance or not. But currently, we are trading above that 50% level over here for this big swing, from all the way from 1102 down to 605. We are currently trading above that 50% level. That is a good sign, and hopefully we can trade above it. We'll see what the afternoon does. Remember, the afternoon is kind of one of those time periods where there's a lot of profit taking that happens, but we'll see what this market wants to do going into today. Ethereum Classic, not a lot of activity there. Why am I using Kraken's ETC for this? That's weird. Basic attention token, respecting its arc very nicely, crossed above this trend line. This was the breakout we were looking for yesterday. That finally did happen. In fact, that is actually a great entrance zone right now. 0.168. Then we've got where are you at? EOS. I mean, a lot of these charts, they're just going to look the same. The market is heavily correlated. They all pretty much move together unless we see some outperformers or underperformers. So EOS, I'm not really touching EOS right now. I actually got rid of all my EOS just before I came on here because they've had some... I still treat coins... Cryptocurrencies and Forex have a lot in common in just kind of the behavior, the nature of their speculation. But cryptocurrencies are also very similar to equities and stocks. Like, who makes up the project? How is it centralized? Is it decentralized? how is its scalability. There's a lot of fundamental factors that you have to take into consideration. Well, you don't have to, but there's a lot of those kind of, like if you're a hodler, you really want to make sure that there's some type of stability. Now, the thing that's turning me off to EOS is, and I have to do a little bit more reading. I don't want to read. I don't read just one article and form a bias on it, but it was enough of a. There was a couple articles actually that kind of threw me off a little bit on EOS just to get out of it. Is that when you have people who work on a coin or a project, it launches, they sell, and then they start something new. That is a professional version of a pump and dump. They're just raising capital for a new ICO and leaving. I don't care how professional the thing is that they leave it. How that's shady. I mean, really, one of the regulations that should come out, and I don't like regulations, but one of them that should come out is that if you are if you have controlling interest, or you are you're somebody who was there at the birth of something, you're an initial investor, it should be just like IPOs. You cannot sell right away at a listing. You have to wait. Okay, you have to provide some integrity, honesty, and legitimacy to what you're launching. You just can't take the money and run and then just leave everybody else out to dry. That's unethical. So that is something that should happen with ICOs. So EOS issues, the chart on technicals, I like it. I'm probably gonna regret moving, but why risk it? There's so many other great opportunities. IOTA, it's a laggard in a lot of ways. Well, we'll come back to IOTA. Nano. Nano still needs a clear break higher above this trend line and above this 45. So Nano, there's other opportunities out there. Waves, man, Waves. We did a Waves trade yesterday, I believe, right? My trailing stop got hit for profit, but not as much as it should have been. Yeah, Waves. We went long at 367. At 367 yesterday. Overnight, we got all the way up to a high of 37.24, and then ultimately kind of retraced down and came back. It's probably due for another drive up, but we'll see. Digibyte. Where did Digibyte go? Dang it. Man, not a lot of activity there at all. Bittrex. Psh. All right. Let's see. Let's look at the others here. So ZRX continuing to pump up higher here. We talked about this trade last week and 2 weeks ago about ZRX. ZRX, again, is one of the Coinbase 5 that I call them. Coinbase 5 is Cardano, Basic Attention Token, OX, Zcash, and what am I missing? Stellar, XLM. Those are the coins that were tweeted by Coinbase back on July 13th that they were considering adding, but that might kind of be a moot point because they are expediting the process of getting their coins listed to Coinbase. We discussed that yesterday. So, but I would anticipate that those 5 would be some of the first ones on their site. So, Zcash really driving up here nice, folks. I mean, a lot of these coins in there, and they're sitting inside the Gann arcs. They are sticking with them and staying out and above them pretty nicely. Zcash is due for another breakout here. We have this really clear, easy to see continuation pattern higher. We could do a triangle pattern, I guess. I hate that default. Hold on. There we go. So, triangle pattern. The breakout is going to be right above that 618. I like this entry for Zcash at 143.45. That'll be a nice break there if we can get up there. I'd wait for a close, like a close on the a 15-minute to the hourly that is above this, but still below the 63 zone, the 147.63. That's kind of what we're looking for. But yeah, really nice drive here. If we get past that, I see initial resistance right up at that 1618 retracement. So keep an eye on that. XRP. So did a little dribble drabble down yesterday, found support at the 50% retracement, trading up now. In the last 4 hour, which we have closing in an hour and a half, it is actually catching a pretty nice drive here. We are seeing, oh shit, Bitcoin, just depending on what you're looking at, it's going beyond that. What are the other exchanges? Automatically log me in. Thank you. Let's hold this thought for a second. Got sidetracked. So, let's see. Binance's Bitcoin. It's trading at 65.35. Look at this nice Ichimoku cloud break. Really need to get that hourly above there, though. That's going to be the clear sign. Ooh, baby. Get some nice fast moves here. Ripple. There's a technical breakout of the triangle. Yeah, Ripple likes to pump up. You know, it's just one of those. It's just one of those coins that really enjoys getting a huge drive higher, and that wasn't a very good one. But you know, we'll see. There's better options than Ripple right now. So Ripple XLM. Nice move on the hourly here. We just got a little bit of selling pressure. Reached back into the arc, facing some pressure up against this 1x2 angle. That's okay, though. We'll have to see if there's going to be a nice breakout move higher above here. But really, we've seen that there's been a series of breakouts that have been happening. It's catching the bid on this is going to be perfectly fine and appropriate. I think really a re-entry on a close above the high here at 26.59 would not be a bad idea. Long at, what did I say, 0.26, 2659. That'll work. Then we've got Walton Chain. Bit of a disappointment here. Bit of a kind of a, you know, it's not doing much, so it's tying up capital. Don't like it. Nano, we did Nano, basic attention, IOTA, okay. Alright. Why is Ripple so popular? Never heard about it. Really? Ripple is popular for a couple reasons. One is that its focus is on banking and reducing the cost and the time to do remittances for banking. So international banks sending currencies this place and that place, there's 3 to 5 business days waiting for those kind of things. Even though, I mean, like, Swift is probably something most people are familiar with, but Swift is a ginormous, hundreds of billions, probably trillions of dollars worth of business. But Ripple is a real threat to a lot of domestic and international banking as far as fees they collect on foreign money coming in, domestic money going out. And Ripple can, I believe they said they have cut the fees associated with that kind of transfer of money from bank to bank by 70%. And they've also cut the time for settlement in money from 3 to 5 business days to 3 to 5 minutes, or just seconds is what they said. Oh yeah. Oh, I was on SiriusXM just a little bit ago before I came on, and you can have to. So I like other people can remind me of things that I forget. But if you want to tune into that, that'll be on. You know what? I I don't remember what time, but it'll be re-airing this weekend. I'll get that to you by either the end of the session or tomorrow. So yeah, Ripple is big for the banking thing. It's a pump coin. I think that's what I call it. I mean, it's got a lot of fundamental stuff behind it too, but there's it, I don't think the issue of whether it's been considered an unregistered security or not has been settled. There is stuff that says it is or that it hasn't. Also, there's a ton of Ripple just floating out there still that has not been released and let out yet. So, I mean, it can be diluted very, very quickly. So it's not it's not something I really want to hold on to for a long time. But hell, it likes to trade because it is like one of those really, really popular penny stocks that you see just kind of catching a drive. Um, But it's also, is it still above Ethereum? No, not anymore. It's very close though, very close. Ripple's market cap is pretty impressive how it shot up there, but yeah. So one of the styles of analysis I wanted to take a look at here um, is the point and figure. But first, let me see what Bitcoin is doing. Now on Kraken's data, Bitcoin traveled up quite a bit there. What's Bitfinex got going on? BTC, why don't I see you? There you are. Yeah, Bitfinex is saying 65.23. A little bit of a wall there, not anything major. Coinigy, that's what I like about Coinigy is it tells you where these walls are at. At the price level 65.24, 65.27. Um, if you does everybody know how to read the bid and the ask, or the bids and the offers? Does everybody know how to read this? I mean, you don't have to answer, but because I know a lot of people don't understand how this works. But the order book is really whenever I trade futures, I don't even use charts when I trade futures. Really, I use a program called Jigsaw Tools, and it's just um, uh, well, whatever. So the bids are basic, or the asks are basically the lowest price that sellers are willing to sell something at, and then the bids are the price that buyers want to get in at. So um, really, when you see a thick order book on the ask side or the offer side, that means that buyers have to buy a lot over here to push prices back up. So if you see like a wall here sitting at, let me see if I can get a screenshot of it here. I see while we're talking, but when you see, well, we'll just do it like this. So you see there's 29 Bitcoin sitting here at the bid. That means that there's people representing 29 Bitcoin worth that want to buy at this level. So sellers have to come in and sell into this to get rid of this bid, which pushes prices lower to the next bid. And so depending if you like looking at numbers or if you're a more visual person, which I am, I think this looks easier to me because I just know that there's a crap ton of buyers here and not a lot of sellers. All right, as we move higher, as we move forward on the chart, prices get higher, and then on the bid side, on the buy side, we see that prices get lower. So, the theory is that the fewer asks or offers there are, the easier it is for prices to move higher, basically. Or like right now, we see that it's easier for prices to move down as opposed to up because there are more sellers There's more sells up here, which means more buyers have to step in to move price up than sellers have to come in to move price down, right? So that is basically that. And it's kind of fun to watch this, especially because I tell you what, I do not like Bitfinex. I've been trading long enough to know when I see some spoofing going on. There is some blatant illegal spoofing. If this was a regulated market, Bitfinex would not be able to exist. There is some shady shit that goes on here. There is naked short selling that goes on this exchange. It is shystery, and I don't care how much they say it isn't. It totally is. It totally is. I have recorded. It's shady. Which is fine. I think if people want to short sell a long biased market, more power to them. I mean, they're the kind of morons that end up losing their accounts. I don't know why you would short a market right now. It's just not a good idea. Okay. So, zipping on in here, looking at the point and figure charts. So, point and figure charts, this is kind of an old school way of trading. And point and figures, you see X's and O's. X's means that, prices move up. O's means price move down. So this is Litecoin, and you can see it says PNF, point and figure, traditional, 5, and 3. So 5 means that every $5 that Litecoin moves, we're going to print a X or we're going to print an O. And the 3 means that that's the reversal amount. So for instance, right now at Litecoin, so it's stopped here at $50. So that means we need to move from 55, 60 to 65. When we hit $65, excuse me, and this is one thing that aggravates me about TradingView is that everything is time-based, even non-time-based charts. So when you're using any chart like a Renko chart or a or point and figure, you want to set it to the lowest time frame possible because it won't actually paint things until the time limit is up, even though it doesn't matter. It's one of the aggravating things with TradingView. I know they're trying to fix it, but it's just an issue. So once we get three $5 moves above 50, so that would be 50, 55, 60 to 65, then we'll see 3 X's. All right? And point and figure, I mean, you can just look at this. If you struggle with candlesticks trying to find, support and resistance based off of past price action, or you're trying to figure out where a head and shoulder pattern could be, or where do you start a trend line, this is a pretty easy way to look at it. And again, there is no time involved in this chart. Even though I put the cursor down here and it'll say 4th of February at 3 o'clock in the morning, then next over to it is 6th of February. I mean, things can stay here for quite a while or make big moves in a short amount of time. So, this is the 14th of May at 2 o'clock in the afternoon, and then we had all this price movement complete on the 17th of May at 1 o'clock in the afternoon. So, things can move quite a bit. There is no time factor involved with point and figure charts. And I drew, this is a linear regression channel. Fib swirl from this first major swing. This is the Fibonacci circle. And from the, whenever I drew this, the 618 retracement. I mean, there's just confluence of the middle line of the linear regression channel. It's near this fib spiral, not too far away from this 618 Fibonacci arc or circle, and then the 1618 Fibonacci level is all right there. It's a strong reversal zone just looking at that. So point and figure charts are great if you don't like looking at candlesticks, or if you I don't know if point and figure is something that is part of the paid version of TradingView or if it's for free. I use paid version of TradingView. I'm not sure, but I think Renko is available for everybody. Renko charts are very easy to read as well. So when you open up a Renko chart, by default, let me set it to default so I know what it's doing. Well, by default, it'll go to ATR, so average true range. On any of these things, you don't want to do the ATR. You can get it quick to see what kind of a setting you'll need to use, but it's going to change depending what you do. So if I look at the hourly, this is telling me that the average movement every hour, according to this chart, is $25 worth of movement. But if I go to a daily, obviously see it's $2.24. I found for Bitcoin that you just change it back to traditional, that 200 or 250 is pretty accurate. Again, though, you want to be kind of on the faster time frame, so you get things to populate when they should as quick as they can. But Renko's a pretty easy look at a market. It's not noisy. Again, there's no time involved here. Volume. You can have volume on here if you want or not, but you can tell where a trend line should be drawn. I mean, it's a very easy way to look at a market, and you can tell that when Renko bars change color, that's telling you that there may be a good probability of a trend change, especially if it's coming up against a historical area of support and resistance. Or you can put the harmonic values down on here, like we could use the musical harmonics. Well, let's do this with Ethereum. It's easier. So Ethereum's settings for this, I use 10. Every $10 of movement in Ethereum makes a Renko brick. And where are we at? What was I doing? Oh yeah, musical harmonics indicator. Made this indicator. If you want it, just message me on TradingView. I'll put my. Oops, that's not it. Captain Quenta, that's my name on TradingView. You can private message me, and I'll send you a link for the musical harmonic indicator. But so here's Renko, 10 brick Renko chart, means that every $10 worth of movement we form a brick. But I need to put the price on here, so I'm thinking we're trading at 218, so that's 128 to 256, 128. Let's go higher. See the price levels above it. 256. There we go. Okay, so with Renko charts, and if you're using like the musical harmonic values, see how they're not equally distributed. That's on purpose, because that's not how frequencies are generated. So it's not an equal division of lines in here. They're not equidistant from one another. They vary. So when you're looking at a Renko chart using musical harmonics, when you see price moving and then you see it stop or change on or near a harmonic level, that's a pretty good idea that you could see it and watch it to see if give it a 1 or 2 bar reversal before you take a trade long or short on it. Okay, and we can go higher with it. So 256 goes to 512. All right, does that kind of make sense? Does this make sense what I'm saying? Using Renko helps with the identifying when a change may be occurring in a longer short-term trend. And again, if 10 is too tight of a range where you get so many different whipsaws and changes, you can check to see maybe changing it to 25 is more realistic. But then the thing is that the higher the brick count, the more accurate the 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 change in a move is going to be, but the less signals you're going to get. So it's really kind of up to the user to determine what is the appropriate Renko amount per instrument. So I like using the musical harmonics on here to get and you know, if I notice that Renkos are bouncing off of a number, if I'm seeing peaks and troughs form on these, if I see enough of them forming on various musical harmonic levels, then I know whatever scale this is probably one I want to keep, because it's, I mean, this will repeat frequently. We'll see Renkos respond to these areas. So Renko charts are fantastic. Point figure charts are phenomenal. The only thing that sucks is that I looked at Litecoin. I know it's a five. That's a $5 reversal setting. But for Bitcoin, you got to change them back. I did this one last night, so like the real breakout angle, I mean, you would be waiting a while, is we want to get above this 618 level breakout of the triangle. So we're looking at the $8,000 value areas where the safe early long entry would be, but technically would not want to take a long trade based on this regression channel and these fib channels. Really wouldn't want to take a long trade until we break above 9,200. But I don't know who wants to wait that long. So, yeah. All right. Zipping on back here to our candlestick chart, looking at... Okay, let's pull up the clouds. Doot, 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 doot. All right, don't need gold. My gold longs are doing very nice. Bitcoin, and Bitcoin. All right. Bitcoin on the daily chart, that's this right here, daily chart. Really nice. You know, here's the issue is, really need to break out above. It's like we have two inner candlesticks, two inside bar candlesticks, and it would really be great if we could break above yesterday's high. 65.37. If we can trade above that, close above that, that would be very nice. Otherwise, you know, we're stuck here until we see what happens the next day. The 4-hour chart looks like it could be developing into a pretty nice and healthy bullish chart, but there's some resistance up here at 65.80 because we've got the baseline and the top of the cloud here. It's a thick cloud. The 1-hour chart looks like we could have a pretty good breakout. However, we just broke out above the cloud on the hourly. The lagging span is still below price. It's still below the cloud. You know, that entry that would be looking at for a long based on the Ichimoku system with the hourly chart is really that right up here, that 65.80 zone. That'd be the conservative safe entry for going long on the hourly. Then we've got Ethereum. Similar story. Okay. Let's look at the altcoins on the hourly and see what we've got for any breakout ideas. So Cardano on the hourly, I'll look it up 4 hours as well. Cardano on the hourly has a really nice breakout level right here. This is a pretty good entry zone. Looking at the 4 hour though, we really need to, I'm leery about, I'm already in Cardano. Would I go into it right now? I probably wouldn't. I'd probably wait for a clear breakout higher or a retest lower on the hourly. That's a tough one. Let's see what else we got. Basic attention token. We already knew that this one was looking like a pretty nice breakout here on the hourly. It's been lagging a lot, so it's a good entry. Let's take a peek at EOS, even though EOS, damn it. On the hourly, looks like it could have a nice drive higher here. This would be at 579. That's right near the top of this cloud, though. Yeah. IOTA. Contractors here. IOTA, we're gonna get a break above the cloud on IOTA with the lagging span. That'd be awesome. It's interesting. So we've got on the 1 hour chart, we see the lagging span and price are facing this is a big resistance zone. We've got price facing rejection up against the baseline and the bottom of a flat cloud, which is hard to pierce. Lagging span is finding resistance up against the baseline. And then on the 1 hour, lagging span is facing resistance up against the top of the cloud. So if we did a breakout at 58.47 on the hourly, is that really 58.47? Yeah, 58.47. Where would that put price on the 4 hour? Excuse me. That might be enough momentum on the hourly to actually go higher. So yeah, limit order at 58.47. That would be all right. Then we've got Nano. Nano, okay, well, looking at the market geometry, I didn't like it, but on the hourly, this might be okay at 235. Let's say Bitcoin pair, though. 3605. Where's 3605 here? Right near the top of cloud. Damn it. It might be better to wait for the 4 hour on this, really. I really think it would. There's a head and shoulder, though. If we get it... Okay, this might make it easier. I'm babbling to myself. If we get a... break of yield neckline. We get a break at 3616. Perfect. That'd be great. I like that one. So put that in there. Nano BTC. Neckline break, which is also all the great conditions for a long on the 1 hour. That should give enough juice to get through on the 4 hour. It's kind of a watch and monitor and babysit that trade, though. Waves. God damn it, Waves. I missed a lot of potential profit on that one. Walton Chain. 1 hour could have a look, but 4 hours still really weak. Geez, this is a weak looking chart. XLM. 1 hour acted as the top of the cloud acted as a resistance zone on the 1 hour, but we are above the cloud. So, like, there's a lot of things that show up on cloud charts on the Ichimoku system. So, you know, whenever price, there's things you can do on an hourly chart that you can't do, or there's things you can do on a daily chart that you can't do on an hourly chart, or that you shouldn't do on an hourly chart. Like when prices cross and close above the conversion and the baseline below the cloud on an hourly chart, you don't want to go long. But when it happens on a daily chart, you can be pretty safe, especially if you know that you've been in the trend for a while, and especially if you know that the last time there was a TK cross, or the Tenkan-sen cross below the Kijun-sen, or the blue conversion line cross below the red baseline. if you know you've had that's been an extended while since that has happened, and then you see prices cross above the conversion line and the baseline, those are generally pretty good signs that you may have a trend change coming. So for people who are really wanting to get in early, they have a lot of risk tolerance, then entering on the daily there is fine. Like on the 23rd, that would have been a valid entry. We closed 3 days in a row above the conversion in the baseline. And even today, I mean, the baseline is sloped up. The baseline is sloped down. The conversion line is sloped up. This is all good signs. Even though price is below these, there's a. I'm not even looking at the same one, but using it as an example still is Ethereum. But I mean, this is still an okay. If I'm long Ethereum back here, this is still an okay zone to remain long, because unless we were to sell off significantly, we're looking at a probable TK cross happening here. So last time that happened, it was all the way back in July. Time before that, I mean, this is looks pretty nice so far. All right, so but looking at XLM. On the 4-hour, we're inside the price action. We're above the cloud here, but I don't know, not really liking the look of it right now. Certainly, when the lagging span crosses above the cloud and closes, that's at 26.84. That's fine. That's pretty much what we were. That's pretty much the trade we had in on the market geometry. So no need to do that. Let's go ahead and take a look at Ripple and see what we've got going on here. Let me get my chair. My bar stool chair, because I use a standing desk. All right. Let's see. We've got Ripple on the hourly. Could have the breakout we're looking for is lagging span above price on both the 4-hour and the 1-hour, and above this base. So looking at 62 would be a nice entry, and 56 on the hourly. Look at the point and figure. I did a Ripple chart on the point and figure. I did a point and figure on the Ripple chart, I think. Did I? Nope. Guess not. Okay, so yeah, 62, then on the daily, what would that be like? Easy. Long at 62 cents even. See, the nice thing about the Ichimoku, I mean, if you're not shorting cryptos and you can only go long, wait for the market. This is like one of the tenets of trading is wait for the market to come to your terms. Don't force the market to get to it. So I think this is one thing that people have a hard time with, like trading any system, especially the Ichimoku system, is that, we're saying, okay, well, I want price to move up to here before I go long. And some people say, well, why are you buying at the high? I'm not buying at a high. And even if it was, that's still fine, because I'm buying at the opportunity that has the highest probability of a move higher happening, okay? Trading these areas, going along here, that may work out. I may capture in on all this move that I missed out on by waiting up here. But I'm not willing to risk that. I've traded long enough, and I've been burned long enough to know that trying to do something early because I think it might happen is a recipe for disaster. Okay? Well, I can just put a trade here, let it sit, wait for it to reach there. My stop is below the cloud. It's why make it more stressful? You don't have to. Okay, Zcash. Zcash. We don't need those there. Zcash. Oh, I like it on the hourly. I like it on the 4 hour. I really like it less on the daily. Hourly though, that's a nice. This could be pretty nice. Really want to get. Okay, so we'll be above the candlesticks at the close here, but I would rather see us go above this high at the open of the next hour. So, I mean, we already have a trade. Yeah. The trade we have in on market geometries mimics this pretty effectively. ZRX. ZRX, pretty nice look here on the daily so far. Lagging span's gonna get into some trouble up there. 4 hour, 1 hour ZRX trade. Easy look here. That would be above 000 10 10465. Double check that. 10465. All right. Again, ZRX, pretty tight hourly. That entry above would bring lagging span above the price action and price above this recent high. That's very nice to see. That would mimic pretty well over here. Yep, that would look great on the 4 hour as well. There's still quite a bit of distance between here and the top of the cloud, so there's still a nice trade opportunity in there. Yeah. All right, I want to check out QTUM because that is going. It's caught some activity. Oh shit! Hell yeah, it has. Okay, 4 hour break, hourly break. Well, I like that the lagging span on the hourly broke out of the cloud, came back down to test the top of the cloud again, found support, and is staying above it. That's good. Yeah, there's a pennant forming, so I think you're fine. I mean, I need to get in on this trade. So, break above this candle here at 000607. That would be perfect. I like that one. All right, OMG. Let's take a look at that. Calvin, I don't know why you like OMG so much, but here it is. I like it. No. Oh man, I don't know how we haven't talked about my baby Bitcoin Gold. Oh, love you, glorious, random pumping Bitcoin Gold. Can we talk about how a rounded bottom this is? It's turning into a bowl. Now, shit, I tell you what, there are not a lot of cryptos right now that are showing this kind of proximity to a breakout on a daily chart. This one is, though. We have shot through. This is a thick ass cloud here with a really flat baseline. Flat baselines, flat clouds. If they're fat clouds with flat tops and bottoms, very hard to break through. Stupidly hard to break through. The fact that this did and it's still trading like a ways above it on the daily is a pretty good sign. The cloud here is really thin. I mean, it makes sense for getting resistance here because this cloud is going to act as resistance, but it shouldn't be very hard for Bitcoin Gold to want to go up higher. I mean, oh man, there's not a lot of crypto charts that have like 3 out of the 4 conditions for going long. The cloud head is green, Conversion line is above the baseline. Price is outside of the cloud. We just need that one last little piece of analysis. That is the lagging span above the cloud. So, which would be a break above this high. So, 29. There it is, 29. Dash. Let's look at Dash real quick. I forgot who wanted to look at Dash yesterday, but let's take a peek at it. It's got an hourly breakout we could trade on very easily. We could get in on it as we're drifting forward in time. If we close above it at 194.42. Oh shit, wrote that wrong. Let me delete that one, guys. All right. Oh, Dash has got a really sexy breakout on the daily it could have, too. 4 hour is about the ugliest thing I've seen. Yeah, Dash, shit. Got some really nice opportunities here. Oh man, Bitcoin. There are some like wild divergences in these prices. This is, let me get these up. Bitcoin. My wife is outside my door. She has lunch and I know I can feel her targeting me right now. Let's see what let's get bit stamps and Bitrix. Oh, what is that? Really? That's an arbitrage. You don't see this shit. This is a $30 Bitfinex Bitstamp Coinbase. What is Tether? Oh yeah, there's an arbitrage in there. Go buy your Bitcoin on Bitrix at 6,500 and zip it on over to Binance. Oh yeah, it was a good segment. Didn't talk about cryptos, but we talked about the next market crash. 2019, 2020, somewhere around there. Late 2019 to late 2020. I'll show you something real quick before I bounce. I'll give you the website too. Because this guy wrote this in 2012. I think everybody, if you're a Gannist, you're going to want to get this. This is Gann's financial timetable. The guy extended it because Gann stopped his in 2008. So he wrote this in I forget. Compiled by Gann in 1909. Okay, that's right. But his is stopped on 2008. So K was same as A. A means extreme low stock prices, strikes, depression, despair, beginning of new business energy, 4 years of falling stock prices and improving. I mean, you can read it easier here, but the guy wrote that 100 years before. And look at the financial calendar here, and You tell me how stupidly, like, accurate this is. Is it accurate to the exact year? No. Is it pretty damn accurate within a couple of years? Yeah. So 2000. Let's see. Let's look at 08. 06 here is actually major panic crash, 4 years of falling prices, business stagnated. So this is the falling years, followed by into 09, same as A, plus strikes, unemployment, many prominent deaths, same as A means. So we have 08 to 09 here. Extreme low stock prices, strike. Despair, beginning of new business generation of 18.6 years. Oh, what is the 18.6 year cycle? Saturn Uranus conjunction. 18.6 years. Which happens again right over here. Where are you at? Right over here. Panic cycle starts. So, something to look forward to. But we know ahead of time, so yeah. The link is in the YouTube chat. I encourage you to check this out. I started trading, fiddling around with trading my own money and all that stuff. In 02, and then I really got into it in 08 and 07, and I used this calendar. I was stupid enough to follow it and benefit from it because the more you learn about technical analysis, I feel like the more unsure you get about it and things like that. Ooh, look at this Cardano. Holy crap. Well, I really got to get out there, guys. I'm hungry too, so. Keeps pushing higher. Bitcoin. Look at that. Bittrex. Oh, finally caught up. Damn, no more arbitrage. Oh man, we're gonna have a breakout here. Damn it! Right as I'm about to log off. Okay, well, anyways, it's a good way to go. So, check this out. Watch for resistance up here on this channel. By the way, as we get up to the 618, we should experience maybe a little pressure up here. We'll see though. Anyways. Hope you guys have all had a good week so far. Hope you had a good Wednesday and a good Thursday. And I will see you all tomorrow afternoon for the Forex Lens, folks. I'll see you in the morning. Please don't forget to like and subscribe. Leave a positive comment of some sort if you would like to. But yeah, nice talking with you all. And I'll see you tomorrow. Bye-bye.